G'day legends, I hope that you're well. Now, obviously I look a lot different. The other day at the barber I just decided, look, take it all, let's get rid of it. So I'm not used to seeing myself in the mirror and I don't know if I like it or not, but let me know what you think of completely getting rid of the beard I've had for now a couple of years. But I've been away for the weekend. I was interstate at a friend's event. So you haven't seen me for a couple of days. So we do have some major updates all across the map. So we'll look at a few videos, we'll look at the maps, and then we'll go from there. So let's get stuck into it. So of course in the center we have the Ukraine, the capital of Kyiv. Red areas occupied by Russia since 22, and purple since 14, this being Crimea and Donetsk here. The green area liberated by Ukrainian forces since the beginning of the 22 invasion. Now we've got Moldova, Romania, Poland, Belarus and Russia around here. Where we're going to come is we come down into the Kherson region and we're just going to be looking in here. Today's the 24th, and if we just step back, we're going to see a shift of this border, implying that Ukraine has got some ground and Russia has lost some ground in this region. Now, what have we said over the past day since I have been away? Not much until yesterday we saw this map update, but these videos and whatever are from a few days ago. So has Ukraine been able to get some ground in here? Now this map is not showing green of controlled ground, but it is definitely showing there is grey zone of area that Russia has lost. So it's not now controlled by Russia either. So what we're going to have a look at is on the ISW, because this shows it a lot differently. So if we take this Antonovka and Olechki here, and we'll take at this is it here, and that Antovka, that is showing that there's significantly more ground that has been taken by Ukraine in this region, and some blue controlled areas down this road, down into here. So we're saying right down into about here. Now we've got some videos that have been geolocated as well on this, that Ukraine has, actually crossed the Dnieper River into Kherson and have, claimed that pushed ground in this Thankyou region. So we've been seeing videos as well of Russia responding by shelling the area they actually controlled, but now that Ukraine is within. So the 0-second mark where this shell you can see exploding is actually at this location here. So this you can see is well deep within where Russia did control only a few days prior. So then we'll skip forward on this video as we'll keep watching, and then we have another geolocation for at the 6-second mark where we see this shell go off. That geolocation is here. So they're also shelling on their side, we'll call it their side that they controlled, and in the Ukrainian side as well. And then at the 24-second mark, we can see where Ukraine is on the river. So let's just watch this video through, and we'll talk about the last geolocation as we go. So the drone flying across here. So you can see these small boats by the Ukrainians down the Dnieper River. So where we actually missed was the 24-second mark. This is geolocated to this position here. We'll just watch the rest of this video as we can see these small boats coming to, and small teams of guys getting in and moving through this area. And Russia subsequently shelling positions we presuming they held. So Russia is shelling both sides of this, but this doesn't really show the same on the deep state map. Initially this was reported as the offensives, and channels are saying that, well, no, there hasn't actually yet been a bridgehead formed, but it could be the start to major moves. And people saying there has to be a lot more evidence than Russians shelling some houses against rubber boats with a handful of Ukrainian soldiers crossing the Dnipro to start talking about the bridgeheads or major offensives. But you never know, it could be the start of laying something for a larger move. But it has to be said that Russia's big issue on this side of the Dnieper River, and this side of Kherson, was resupply. And Ukraine will have the same issues moving across the river here to actually resupply guys on this side. So, resupplying is a massive logistical challenge. Let's just have a look at a Ukrainian map as well, showing what is similar. So it is showing very similar, I guess, to the ISW, not really the deep state. But it is showing similar, I guess, to the deep state of this little sliver of ground, but not this more grey zone. So it is definitely interesting to have a look at. I don't, sadly, have a Rybar Russian sources of this location. But what we do have is this translated video of Russian soldiers.
Citizens of the Russian Federation, residents of the Kherson region, do not panic. All the news feeds, which claim that the Ukrainian side allegedly occupied some kind of bridgehead in Alyoshki, are fighting. This is all disinformation. Everything is quiet, calm. The troops of the armed forces of the Russian Federation are on guard of your peace and occupy the frontiers.
In this region here, saying that everything is all right. Let's have a look up and down the front line on the map and see if we've seen any major changes or shifts. So let's go into Bakhmut, and we can see that there has been definitely some big shifts. So we're looking at the train line here and the Bakhmutka River here. Today's the 24th, and as we roll back, I believe maybe the 20th, I last spoke to you. So we have seen Russia make more gain across in the north, the south, and to the west of the train line, really closing up this envelope of Bakhmut that is leaving now less than 20% under control of the Ukrainian forces. Let's compare this, as always, to then the Rybar Russian sources map of Bakhmut and have a look at what is similar and what is different. Now, of course, these roads are always difficult to get an idea and line things up exactly. But what we're going to have a look at mainly is the train line. So this is the train line, and if anything, deep state is almost showing more across the train line, although this this Rybar map is a few days old, but it is showing very similar picture across in the north. So this road here is this road that bends here by these two. So these two and the bend. This is the bend and these two. So it is showing more gain to the south in the north region on the Rybar map. But again, it is showing very similar. So this situation here is absolutely critical and has been for a long time, although it is holding way longer than anyone really presumed. So that is now the situation in Bakhmut. And let's go to Avdiivka and see if we've seen any changes at all by the Russian forces. So all we have seen is between the 21st and the 23rd that the shape of the front line did change, with Russia getting some areas on the north and Ukraine holding some more areas on the east. So the front line shape has changed. As we know, these front lines are fluid and do change day to day, hour to hour in some cases. Let's have a look at Bakhmut on the ISW map. So we'll just zoom in on this here, and what is it showing? So this is the train line here, and this is the Bakhmutka River, and as we see, the claimed control. I will say the claimed control area on the ISW is very similar to the deep state's controlled area and the Rybar's controlled. So if we look again at the Rybar map and compare it to the ISW, it is looking very similar, as it is showing that Russia have pushed across the train line in regions and down to the south from where this reservoir is. So slowly the Bakhmut, cauldron is getting closed, but as always, at what cost? As we know, the casualties in here from Russia and the casualties from Ukraine were huge, and we won't know exactly the effect this is actually going to have until further on down the line. Yevgeny Prigozhin has made these comments after a video released of Ukrainian soldiers shooting an allegedly wounded Wagner soldier in a trench line. Now, I can't show you the video, but we'll show you some. So this is the video here of a Ukrainian soldier here and a Wagner soldier here. And as he moves up, the Ukrainian, and it looks like the Wagner soldier is messing with something here, and you quickly see that then there is multiple shots fired. Now what I have had to do is crop this video, as to the left there is someone dead. Now the Ukrainian soldiers then move back and throw a grenade into the pit where he is. This was Prigozhin's response to this, saying that they will not take any more prisoners, that they will destroy everyone on the battlefield.
Поэтому нарушать правила гуманизма мы не будем. И будем просто уничтожать всех на поле боя. Поэтому этот закон будет называться закон 300-го. Мы пока еще не знаем, как зовут нашего парня, которого раненого расстреляли украинские негодяи. И будем убивать всех тех, кто есть на поле боя. Ни одного пленного больше не брать.
Now, what we need to remember is we don't know what was being spoken to one another. We don't know the exact situation. We don't know the events leading up and following as well. You know, unlike some absolute blatant executions we've seen from Russian soldiers and Ukrainian soldiers, I think this one is a little bit more hard to read between the lines because we weren't there. We don't know exactly what happened. But I think it is a good example of how war is hell, and these are young men losing their lives. Now, there's been a lot more speculation again around Australia's mothballed F-18 Hornets being given to Ukraine. Australia over the last years has been converting from the F-18s to the more modern F-35, and lots of countries are retiring their F-18s and replacing to newer platforms, mostly the F-35. You know, mainly like Canada and Spain and Kuwait, who have a lot. Australia have 46 of these multi-role fighters in storage. Now, I see a lot of people saying just hand them over. Now, this might be nice, but while Australia owns the jets, it does not actually have the right to sell them to a foreign nation. That requires permission from the US. Now, the original plan was for Air USA to acquire the 46 Hornet. Canada had bought 25 into the deal with Air USA to help bolster its aging CF-18 fleet. The Australian Hornets are largely upgraded to A++ standard, which gives them the capabilities of the newer F-18Cs, including the type's upgraded AN APG-73 radars. There are some major questions around the airframe's structural wear and tear, with some saying that they are at the end of their life structurally. It may seem very simple of why don't we just send them now? Well, that just can't happen. This isn't a Toyota Camry. This is a fighter jet. You know, integration of these has been repeatedly stressed by officials that it could take years. You know, I am sure that Ukraine will get Western fighter jets at some point, but they will not be in this counteroffensive that we will see either started now or in the coming weeks. Jets are not only bum in seat of pilot, there's everything from how to maintain them, their maintenance crews, all of that, and that can take months, if not years. Now, many have actually speculated, though, that the F-18 is a better fit for Ukraine than the F-16, which was originally, talked about and requested. Being a carrier-capable landing gear, so a lot stronger landing gear that could land on a more battered runway, and being a twin-engine plane with a high angle of attack, it is a more similar flying dynamics to the MiG-29 than the F-16. So people saying that that could be an easier conversion for Ukrainian pilots across. So it could lower that training time. Also saying it's a better air-to-ground fighter. Dogfighting might be a cool spectacle in movies, but the days of aerial combat like that are done. We talked last week how the US was not approving visas for Russian diplomats and journalists to attend the United Nations building in the United States, of which Russia is currently the chair of the Security Council. Well, today, Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has spoken about it, saying this.
Американские коллеги славятся такого рода вещами, но был уверен, что я ошибался. И страна, которая себя в общем-то, сделала, я убежал, глупость, доступ к информации и так далее. Прикладывать больше сил, чтобы донести правду. Постарайтесь отслеживать то, что мы там будем делать, и через свои каналы эту правду распространяйте. Я уверен, во всем мире. Своим зрителям, слушателям, уверенно, не забудем, не простим.
In the end, himself and the diplomats have arrived in the US, but without journalists. Many are saying this is in retaliation to Russia currently detaining a US journalist, Ivan Gershkovich, who Russia has accused of espionage. The United States has declared him to be wrongfully detained. The Freedom of Press Index has Russia at 150 out of a possible 180 and Ukraine at 90. So it's a very interesting situation that is changing. Now, sorry I haven't seen you guys for a couple of days, and sorry this one a little bit all over the place. I've been getting used to doing this again. But I hope you're having a great day, and I'll speak to you soon.